Ladies and gentlemen, what is poppin'? Kevin Phillip Fox here with Legit Football, and I'm here for the Legit Football NFL podcast. I'm going to bring in my host from Down Under, Mr. Adrian Ravito, Mr. Friday himself. How are
Oh,
you, Adrian?
no walk-up music. I'm a little bit hurt, but that's okay.
Oh, I
I'm
would be
doing
too.
good, man.
Oh, I'd be
Yeah,
disgusted. He basically
that
said
feels
you
like a
weren't
personal
fly.
shot.
He
Yeah,
basically said you weren't fly.
yeah.
We
I
have
get it.
It's gonna be a hot show. Do you want to know why? Not only do we have myself, not only do we have Adrian Ravito, not only do we have producer extraordinaire Anthony Wayner asleep at the wheel, but we also have Jonathan Engelman in the chat. What's up, guys? Good to be back. I've missed the last couple of weeks. Jonathan, you might have missed the last couple of weeks. Anthony's doing a do-over. Anthony's getting a do-over there. It's a beautiful thing.
I
Also,
forgive
guys,
you, man.
I just want to
love
show
you,
this
dude.
really quick. Anybody in the YouTube, I believe Jonathan and Oscar are on YouTube. So, actually, Adrian, do you mind taking off your headphones and showing him your fresh cut? Look at this man's edge up. Look at this man's fade. I didn't even know they had barbers like that in Australia. Are you kidding me? I'm
Actually
blown away.
shout out to my cousin. My cousin does my hair.
Shout out to
actually,
Adrian's
but,
cousin. If make sure he listens to this so he can hear the.
but I will get her on here. Yeah,
Well, shame on me for assuming it was
no,
a man.
I don't know.
Anyways, so listen, I want to give a shout out to Jonathan. We're stoked to have you, dog. Also, shout out to Oscar, who is probably the best Legit Football social media follower. He is so on top of being the first comment on every post across platforms. Oscar, you're a beast. You're an absolute beast. We have Jonathan, we have Oscar. No Armand quite yet. I'm a little nervous. My heart's beating a little fast because if we don't have Armand, I'll be hurt. But we do have Anthony, we do have Adrian, and we do have a packed show. So without further ado, let's get to our legit headlines. Anthony brought the sauce on that one. He's back. He's back in the good graces, I think. Adrian, what do you think?
Yeah, no. I can't stay mad at him. You know what I mean?
Can't stay mad at that face. You can't be mad at that face.
No, never.
The first legit headline: the Vikings have officially released running back Dalvin Cook, and the Dolphins are the clear favorite to land him. Now, we've known for a while that this was on the horizon, very likely. The Vikings released Cook on Thursday in a move that cleared $9 million in cap space. Really a no-brainer for that team. There's some belief in Alexander Madison as a 3-down back, so really felt like kind of a no-brainer. Personally, I'm very okay with this move. Those cap savings are huge. Minnesota's kind of in a transitional period. I think the sooner you can start ripping off those Band-Aids, the better. We saw that with Thielen. We saw it with a Harrison Smith contract restructure. We're now seeing Dalvin Cook. There's the possibility of Danielle Hunter being cut or traded. So, Adrian, what are your thoughts on these moves by the Vikings so far?
Yeah, you see what's funny about this move? Like any good show, you normally call back to the pilot. And the first episode I was on Legit Football.
Oh, wow.
And Brian. Yeah, I can't remember this, but I and BMAC were discussing Dalvin Cook, and I was like, they're not getting rid of Dalvin Cook. That offense runs through him. And I think, and I could be wrong on this, I think Brian was kind of like on the fence, but you were like, nah, dude, they're moving on. So I feel like you called it real early, man.
I like the callback. I like that we're like in season 2 now of the Adrian story arc.
That's what I'm saying. And they send these Easter eggs from the pilot episode.
Oh yeah, we love this.
It's a good move for them. Look, they really do believe. I agree with you, Oscar. Will be wild, and I think our fearless previous and hopefully one day leader, Brian McFadden, will be wrapped if that happens.
Yeah. Oh my God, he would be so ecstatic. I've been talking to Brian as these developments have unfolded. And, here's the thing that's really interesting, Adrian. If you were to classify Dalvin Cook, right, as not in terms of quality, but in terms of play style, how would you classify Dalvin Cook's play style? I'm just curious.
He's actually a hard one to classify because first I'd put him as like a bruiser who just barrels through, but he's so agile, man. You watch his tape, he sort of steps through these gaps and like just explodes with speed. He's a real he's all rounder.
I could actually see his game aging in a really similar way to Ezekiel Elliott's game because, look, you can't deny, you can make fun of Zeke all you want. Talk about let's eat when he's averaging 2.7 yards per carry, all that, whatever. That was maybe a low blow. He's probably above that, but I digress. Dalvin Cook's game, I feel like, has the potential to age in a similar way where if he's not the one-cut guy that he always was, if he's not the pass catcher, if he's not the finesse player, his vision is so good. Vision doesn't expire when you get old. I think his vision could lend him gracefully to being a third down, short yardage, go out and get those tough yards kind of back. That's just how I'm seeing it. I'm calling it like I see it.
Totally. Look, he's not done. He's not washed, by any means. To me, Zeke was done, and my feelings on Zeke Elliott, but like Cook to me was not
Say what you
done.
want to say, but he had 8 touchdowns last year. I mean, I don't
Yeah,
think you can still contribute if you're a running back whose game ages gracefully. You don't have to be a 250
that's
touch,
true.
1250 all-purpose yardage guy to be a good player. And Dalvin Cook will have such a small. If he goes to Miami, he'll have such a small workload because they have Raheem Mostert, they have Jeff Wilson, they have Salvin Ahmed. They just drafted Devon Achane, which, my heart for Devon Achane and
If
for
he goes there, yeah.
all the people who drafted Devon, including myself in Dynasty, Devon Achane owners would be reeling if Dalvin Cook goes to Miami. But that being said, kind of seems like a no-brainer, right, Adrian?
Yeah, and I know when they announced the release, he posted he was at Hard Rock in
Yeah.
Florida. Like, I think he's ready. He's a hometown guy there, so I think he wants to go there. It seems like there's mutual interest.
Yeah.
It seems like a pairing like made in heaven, and I think he'll do well in that offense as well. So you're right. He won't have to take 3 downs. He won't get broken down.
Yeah.
Sup Thomas Bray in the chat.
Oh, we got the GOAT Thomas. Hey, Thomas does some of the craziest graphics work for our social media. So shout out to Thomas. We're really stoked to have you here, bro. I also want to shout out, you mentioned the Dalvin Cook Hard Rock Stadium photo. Our new video editor and one of our new content creators, Gabby Federico, made a video about that. So check out the Legit Football social medias. Thomas, Gabby, and myself are trying to keep that thing lit on fire 24/7. And we couldn't possibly do it without the listeners, without people like Oscar, people like you, Jonathan. Like I said, there's a glaring hole in my heart right now where Armand usually is. So I'm looking forward to hearing back from Armand. But in the meantime, Mr. Adrian Revito, is there anything else you want to say on Dalvin Cook before we move on to the next legit headline?
No, I'm I lie. I say no, and I'm going to say it. All I'm going to say is I'm kind of glad he's out of the North. I mean, for all the talk of him coming down, I still have trauma. I still remember him just running through our line, and so I'm happy he's out of the North.
He's an absolute stud, man. He did some crazy things against Buffalo last year. I don't know if you remember, but I think he had like a 70-yard touchdown against the Bills last year, which doesn't usually happen to the Bills defense. So shout out to Dalvin Cook. He's had a great run in Minnesota, and I think wherever he goes, he's going to be a huge threat. I think it's a no-brainer for Miami. I think I would also be scared to see him on Dallas. I think if he takes the Zeke role and he gets to do just the short yardage or just the between the tackles running, I think it could keep Pollard a lot more fresh. It might slow Deuce Vaughn's development a little bit.
Yeah,
so we'll see about that. It's the same with Achane, though. I mean, there's really a no. Dalvin Cook's going to be a bomb in a fantasy backfield wherever he goes, 100%.
I think I read the Cowboys might not be interested. I could be wrong on that, but I'm just checking my memory.
Yeah, I would scare me if they were, though. I'm just going to throw that out there. Okay, fair. I think it might be time for our next legit headline. We have the Panthers have finally promoted Bryce Young 0 games into his career to being the QB1. I think, to be honest with you, Adrian, I was a little bit miffed that it took them this long. You draft a quarterback first overall. You do that whole cute little routine. Oh, you got to go out there and earn it. Oh, we don't hand anything to anyone. Shut up. I'm sorry. All due respect. We all know that that Bryce Young is QB1 in Carolina. Anthony Richardson is QB1 in Indy. CJ Stroud is QB1 in Houston. And Will Levis's days before he at least gets a crack at QB1 in Tennessee are, I would say, shorter than longer. So absolutely absurd that we even do this song and dance every year. Every single rep that player doesn't get with the first team is time wasted. So shout out to the Panthers for figuring it out during OTAs and not making us wait till training camp.
Dude, you hit the nail on the head. I mean, like the teams that are like, you pick number 1 overall and you're going to tell me he's not, just miss me with that narrative. He's number 1. Like, he's number 1 from week 1 and that's the end of it. So I'm glad they've put him there. It seems like they're happy with him. I'd be very shocked if they didn't. And to be honest, if you're the coach of the GM and you're not putting him week 1, your job's in trouble. Like, if you've drafted him first overall, your job's in trouble.
Yeah, it absolutely makes no sense to fathom starting not your first overall pick. Thomas, huge Carolina fan. So shout out to Thomas. We're super stoked to have you in the chat for this conversation. He should play every snap after all they gave up for him. Couldn't agree more, Thomas. I think that's an absolutely spot on point.
Yeah, and so you went to get your guy. It seems like he's proven that he's the guy. So I'm happy for Carolina fans. So Thomas, that's awesome for you. And I really I did a piece on Rookie of the Year, and Bryce Young is currently sitting in second place behind Bijan, and I think that's where he should be.
Yeah.
Maybe third behind Anthony Richardson, just because the dual threat quarterbacks are usually going to get a little bit more production.
Yeah, but production doesn't necessarily matter as much in end of the season awards as like impact.
Yeah,
Like,
that's fair.
If Bryce Young goes out there and leads Carolina to a 9-8 season and sneaks them into a wild card spot, he's gonna get heavy consideration for rookie of the year, I think.
Yeah. I think when I look at a quarterback and I think about rookie quarterbacks, what I kind of assimilate that to is getting nervous in the pocket and running out. And Anthony Richardson can run out and then go for 50 yards. But Bryce Young, man, extra gears between the ears, and Bryce Young's got the smarts. Like, he will absolutely.
I'm telling you, I say it all the time. It might be a hot take, but Bryce Young, I watch him on film. I see mini Mahomes. I see this magician. I see this freaking guy who has this crazy pocket presence, this crazy pocket maneuverability. He's agile. He's mobile. He's got a nice arm. He's accurate. Man, I'm stoked for Carolina. And I just wish they had a better receiving threat. To be honest with you, man, I love Adam Thielen. I think his game has aged so well. I think he's gonna get 7 to 10 touchdowns this year, but he might get 36 catches and 600 yards. I'm just saying. Thomas aptly points out we have Bijan versus Bryce week 1. I wonder if the winner of that matchup will foreshadow who will win Rookie of the Year.
Interesting.
Very interesting little conversation there.
I didn't realize that was week 1, though. That's going to be an exciting game.
That's going to be an exciting game. And both teams are on the uptick. I mean, dude, I've been saying this all offseason, but I absolutely love me some. Oh, Thomas, I'm so sorry, my friend. I have to call you out on this. They're counting on TMJ to break out. I'm assuming you're referring to Terrace Marshall Jr. Ooh, Terrace Marshall Jr. has been bad. Ooh, the film does not tell a good story on Terrace Marshall Jr. and the stats tell the worst one. So if Terrace Marshall Jr. is going to break out, it's going to be something that's unforeseen. It's going to be something that we haven't seen yet.
Thomas is not coming back to this show.
I'm sorry, Thomas. I'm just gonna. We don't sugarcoat things on this podcast. It's all unfiltered. It's all raw. In case you couldn't tell from my social media videos, I want the smoke. Didn't put Tyreek Hill in my top 5 wide receivers. Had Justin Herbert as my number 2 hot seat QB. Yeah, they're trying to cancel me, Adrian. They're trying to cancel me on the socials because I think Tyreek Hill is more of a weapon than a receiver. But we'll get to that.
Can't handle the heat. Can't handle the heat. Get out of the kitchen.
I love the heat. Please bring the heat my way. I want it. But I'm gonna get the heat. Thank you. Anthony's keeping the train on the tracks. I appreciate you, Anthony. That's like my Oscar wrap-up music when you hear that sound. Bears running back Khalil Herbert has the early lead in the offseason running back competition between himself and Deontay Foreman. The Panthers would go get the wrong LSU guy. I agree, Thomas. The report comes from ESPN's Courtney Cronin, who adds that Herbert has been taking first-team reps at OTAs. Herbert will attempt to fend off challenges from Deontay Foreman, Travis Homer, and rookie 4th-rounder Roschon Johnson. DeAndre Hopkins will visit the Titans on Sunday. Oh, that's the next one. Sorry, that's not bolded. We'll stop it at the Roschon Johnson part, and we'll get to the DeAndre Hopkins thing in a second. But, Adrian, first thoughts on this Bears backfield competition?
Yeah, it's interesting. After they got rid of Montgomery, look, Herbert's a nice back. Deontay Foreman's a nice back. But I don't know if I see either of them as elite. Like I said, they could definitely be RB1 for the team, but it doesn't make them a game changer. The thing that the Bears have that most other teams don't have is a quarterback who's basically a running back. Like,
Jonathan, Justin Fields, don't forget LMAO. Yeah, Justin Fields will absolutely pick up chunk plays with his legs. But I do believe there's going to be a concerted effort to make him more of a passer this year. And I think going out and getting DJ Moore, going out and solidifying the offensive line, Cole Kmet, Robert Tonyan, Darnell Mooney, this is the best crop of weapons he's had in his career at receiving threat. So I definitely think Justin Fields, he's one of my biggest breakout contenders for this upcoming season. I think Fields is going to have a big year. And I think Khalil Herbert is a little bit more quarterback friendly in terms of routes. Deontay Foreman, look, Adrian, I know that this conversation is ever evolving, but the Achilles thing doesn't go away in my brain. Okay.
Not a running back.
The Achilles thing will always kind of be like this scarlet A that these running backs wear. And that's actually kind of a bar because it starts with an A. So I'm feeling pat myself on the back.
Nailed it. Absolutely.
I kind of feel like the Achilles injuries will always be a scarlet A to me. And I have a hard time unseeing Deontay Foreman's thing. I have a similar issue with Cam Akers. I want so badly to believe that they can be 3 down backs, they can be workhorses, but I think that the likelihood of that takes a significant hit after an Achilles injury.
I'm glad you brought up Cam Akers because he's a great example of it. Like, do you remember the hype around Cam Akers before his injury?
I'll
And then
never
he
forget
came
it.
back and he was just like, Cam who? You know what I mean?
Yeah, really.
And I think, look, Justin Fields, this is the homer in me. I'm not sold yet, but if he's going to take his breakout, if this is going to be the year that he takes that leap, it's got to be through the passing game because we know he can run. We know he can rush.
Yeah.
He's already dangerous with his legs. So if he's going to take that step up to be an elite QB, and if he's going to put the Bears into contention, I admit that they're in a division that they've got a good chance because don't get me started on the Packers. Anthony's Lions, who I love this year, they're still quite a variable. Like we don't know if they're going to win 11 games or 7.
Yeah.
And the Vikings, who knows with the Vikings? Like, if they don't keep winning these 1-score games, and they could have 7 wins. So they're in the division to do it. If he can get it through the air, I know we've totally taken off the topic from the running back room, but I like
part of it though.
I like him to break out if he can get it through the air.
If we come back to the running back room, I'll say this really quick. I think Khalil Herbert's a better all-around weapon. Deontay Foreman's nice between the tackles. And I think based on the Scarlet A Achilles injury, if you give him less work, you let him be the between the tackles guy, you let him be the short yardage guy, I think it will better suit him for that role. And then Khalil Herbert, who's kind of shifty and pretty athletic and has put up some good numbers, good YPC, good yak numbers in his first couple of years. He could probably be the weapon that we want him to be for the Chicago Bears. And think of it like Devin Singletary and Baby Cook last year. I think that's a good comp. Like you let Foreman play the Singletary role, you let Herbert play the Cook role. I think you got yourself a nice little 2-headed monster there in Chicago.
And that's the thing. I don't think Chicago needs an outstanding RB1. Like I think they can have it by a committee, and and they can pull an Eagles and just share the load across a couple backs, and then between Justin Fields, and they could have a pretty good run game with that. They don't need to run the offense through these running back room. They just need something that can complement, and they need defenses to still have to account for them. It can't be like a Tampa Bay where you just don't even have to worry about the running backs.
Yeah, and I think this one really nicely wraps itself up. It's a pretty open and shut conversation. I'm super stoked to talk about this next one. We have wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins. Oh, Anthony, you're missing a headline, dog. We have wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins visiting the Tennessee Titans on Sunday. Hopkins, per the NFL Network's Tom Pelissero, will fly to Nashville on Sunday to meet with the Titans. Hopkins and Titans coach Mike Vrabel crossed paths in Houston from 2014 to 2017. Now, I made fun of DeAndre Hopkins on Wednesday's 30 Minutes of Football, and I'm going to do it again, Adrian. What was the company line from Hopkins' team? Contender only? Tennessee, best contender I can think of.
Totally, yeah.
He's going to Tennessee. He's going to Houston. He's going to Cleveland. He's really only looking at contenders, huh, Adrian?
I think he was expecting a much hotter market. How do you feel about this, though? Because I know you wanted Hopkins.
Yeah. I'm definitely a little devastated about the Hopkins stuff. But you know what? To tell you the truth, I'm going to foreshadow something. Okay, I'm going to spoil something, Adrian. Is that cool? Do I have your permission to spoil something?
You pull out the crystal ball, my friend.
We've been having so much fun on this show. We miss Brian McFadden dearly, but it's kind of like when you have a substitute teacher in. You get to do more crazy stuff. Like they're wheeling the TV card in. We're playing games. We're playing heads up, 7-up type stuff. I had this idea today for next week's little teaser to get you guys back here next Friday. Song titles that describe NFL teams' off seasons. And let me tell you something about the Buffalo Bills. You can't always get what you want, but sometimes you just might find that you get what you need. That's my spoiler. I'm sad about Nuke, but I think the pass rush and the offensive line bolstering is just so much more responsible of asset allocation. And it's not the flashy move that everybody wanted, but we'll see if it pays off. I think they got what they needed.
Before we move on, because I know that's the sign. Just I have to foreshadow it. Give me your Buffalo over.
For the win-loss. Oh, I'm taking over 100%.
Yeah.
You kidding me?
Yeah, we'll get to that, but I need to hear it. I need to hear it from you.
Yeah, Nuke's visiting the Titans, and it's kind of if he goes to a non-contender, it's kind of inconsequential. I mean, I hope he gets a bag, and I hope he's happy. I love the player. I still would take him in Buffalo. I'd take him with bells on, but I don't know. It doesn't look likely for the Bills or the Chiefs really to make much of a play for him.
It's
just based
such
on
a
that.
trope. Like earlier in the off season or in last season, you think about these guys like Nick Hopkins, and you're like, oh yeah, I'd give up a first for him. I'd give up, and then he gets released because at the end of the day, these receivers, especially over 30, teams aren't breaking their back to get him. So he can say, I want a contender all he wants. It might not be up to you, man. You want to get paid, you go where
Yeah.
they're paying him.
And I'm not even mad at that. Like I'm making fun of him, but I'm not even mad at it. Go get your bag,
No.
dog. Like you're 31. This is probably the last real contract that he is going to have a chance to get. I hope he goes out and gets a bag. I think we're going to the main topic. Is that right? Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for our main topic. Now, I was saying this in the TikTok before the show, Adrian. I don't think you were there. I think it was when you were having communication issues. But I'm absolutely going to rat you out, Adrian. I've always thought that in most circles that I was in, I would be the most gross, degenerate gambler.
Yeah.
But I think Adrian might have me beat, to be honest with you. We've let Adrian have some sway in the main topic conversation. And this man, let me tell you guys, this man loves gambling and he loves talking betting. And I love it too. I'm signing my name on that dotted line, bro. I love it, man. I'm stoked to do this.
I gravitate towards it. I want that. I want something with odds.
It's so fun, dude. Yeah, let's dive in here. So we have the 2 early win total predictions for the NFL team. So Adrian, I'm gonna let you. I'm gonna throw this over to you because this is your thing, right? You already wrote an article on this. You have a lot of thoughts on this. So, I will take my golden apple and my chalk and pass it over to you. You are going to be leading. You're the substitute teacher today. So why don't you fire up get the TV out? Why don't you fire up those win-loss numbers and take us down the list?
We absolutely can. So I think we're going to look at this. So
Kevin and I will go by division. Does that sound like a good idea?
Yeah.
Let's go
so
by
I think we're going to stick to one conference this show, and we'll do a follow-up with the other conference. Let's see how we go for time. But division by division. But we do have to call. I just noticed something. This is unrelated to win totals. Where's the purple light, man? I've just realized that ain't even on. What is going on?
Sorry. Thank you for calling me out. Oh, there it is.
Thank you. That's...
Oh, I got to strobe it now.
That feels
strobe it now to make up for lost time. All right, we're back.
All right, so let's. Shall we start on the AFC or shall we start on the NFC? What do you feel?
I would like to do the AFC today because we already teased the conversation.
Love it. All right, let's roll with the North. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at the DraftKings win totals. We're going to call out over under, and so I'll go through the 4 teams in the North. We'll go through the win totals and let's talk. So Baltimore Ravens 9.5. Cincinnati Bengals 11.5, Cleveland Browns 9.5, Steelers 8.5.
Jeez Louise, that's a tough division.
North
you said Cleveland Browns are 9.5?
9.5, yeah.
And they're above Pittsburgh, huh?
Yeah, which shocked me as well.
Oh wow. Okay. Let's go bottom up. How's that sound? I have some ideas. I have some thoughts, Adrian.
Tell me.
I'm looking at Pittsburgh, right? And I'm looking at that historic stat that every single person who's ever watched a game of football knows. Mike Tomlin has never had a losing season.
Oh, yeah.
In order for him to have a losing season, it would have to be the under, right? But how on God's green earth is that going to happen? I don't think I see it, Adrian.
You and me both. So I'll tell you what my predictions were on this. All right. So I had the Steelers with 10 because I think they had it down, yeah, and they didn't have a losing season. This is not the year that they're going backwards, yeah. So the over on them.
You're also a big believer in Pickett. Let's get that out in the open. You have him as a breakout candidate.
Yeah,
I agree. I disagree, but I digress.
I still think that at the bare minimum, I think they're going 9. But that's me.
Pickett only has to be average for them to win 9 games. We saw that last year, so.
Yeah, and they've gone and short up the lines, which is the Steelers of old. They've got these trenches where that's where the game runs through. So I think that'll win you a lot of games. By
the way, really quick, Oscar, Thomas, Jonathan, please comment your over/under win totals as well. This would be so fun to get some engagement on.
Yeah, absolutely. The Browns, so they had a 9.5 win total. I had them at 7, but they're a hard one because if Watson is even 80% of what he was, really, you have to watch out for the Browns.
I'm actually really inclined to take the under on that one, to be honest with you. Yeah.
I think I'm wish casting. With everything that happened with Deshaun Watson, I'm not
it's
a
hard
super
to root for him. Yeah. It's hard to root for Cleveland, man. They're like the hated team in the NFL.
Yeah. I'm one of those people where it's kind of like prove it first, right? So if you think about like the Bills punter, I really feel for him because it came out later that he wasn't even involved in the whole.
It was heartbreaking.
Yeah. And that guy, like his life is now pretty much ruined. So, but when it comes to Deshaun Watson, and if you go through all the cases, it's really
horrible,
hard.
awful situation. Yeah, Deshaun
And
Watson.
zero acknowledgement from him. So for me, I'm kind of
Yeah.
wish casting here. I'm putting him at 7 wins.
Yeah.
The Bengals, I am
Jonathan's
taking
on the same page as us so far. Just throwing that out there, Jonathan. At least, you and me are on the same page too, Adrian. Look at that.
Yeah.
We have Steelers over, Browns under. We'll go over the other ones, Jonathan, in a second. I do want to shout out Thomas. Doesn't see a scenario where the Ravens can't get 10 wins. Very confident,
Wow.
Thomas, on them Ravens, man. You should book it to Vegas with that confidence.
I actually put the Ravens for under, which their win total is 9.5. I had them at 7. I'm not a big believer in the Ravens this year.
It's so tricky because I agree with Thomas in a sense of like, I absolutely love the way that they overhauled their roster. I think Lamar Jackson is going to be out to prove that he's worthy of that deal. I love Odell, even though he's pretty old.
My feelings.
Yeah, we've talked about this a lot. Yeah, we have Adrian and I have actually. What was it, like 550 or something like that? 575.
575, no more, and there was no more than I think it was a 60. No more than an 80-yard game.
Yeah, you were roasting. Yeah, you were flagrantly low.
Missed me with that 30-year-old receiver and no ASL.
But also,
ASL.
but we ASL, American Sign Language.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
No, but we also have you're forgetting Zay Flowers. You're forgetting a healthy Rashad Bateman. You're forgetting J.K. Dobbins with two working legs.
But is all right, Rashad Bateman, is he staying healthy? Because and even if he is, he's had 17 games over his season for a total of 800 yards. I know this because I was ragging on him very recently. So Zay Flowers is absolutely a candidate to me for Rookie of the Year, because if he's in a position to, if Lamar delivers the way he should be delivering, Zay Flowers is going to be wide receiver 1, I think.
I like Zay Flowers a lot. I definitely think he can be a huge threat in that offense. Mark Andrews would probably always be the true first target, though.
But I'm still calling the under. I don't know what it is about the Ravens. I mean, maybe it's just because the North is hard. It's worth noting that the Ravens are in the bottom 3 or bottom third of difficulty or strength of schedule.
Yeah. I think I'm going to go over for the Ravens myself.
Okay, that's fine.
We should keep track of these. Yeah, we should keep track of these. I'm gonna type it out actually in the public comments from the Legit Football. So we're gonna say Adrian has. Oh darn! I just typed Adrian. Look at this. I'm like an old man. We're gonna say Adrian has. Remind me, Adrian. You have.
You know what? If you want, I've got my sheet here because I've done the predictions for my article. So why don't I just track your overs and unders, and then.
Oh, sweet.
And that'll make your life easier. I have to call out something. My wife said this to me after our last show. She's so. No one calls me Adrian, and she's like, every time I hear him call you Adrian, you feel like you're getting in trouble. And I'm like,
oh,
I get that.
What do they call you?
Age. I get age from everyone.
I like age. Age is a cool nickname. I might work some age in there.
Yeah, I don't want to force it. I don't want to force a nickname, but I feel like I'm getting in trouble when you say Adrian.
I mean, I also like AR. AR is a cool nickname.
Oh yeah, and then there was always Adrian from Armand, who still hasn't shown up in the chat, which is disappointing.
Yeah, this is not okay. Somebody check on Armand. This is not like him.
And then let's keep the train going. I'm assuming that we're both over on the Bengals, 11.5.
I'm under.
Under.
Thank you for checking on me. Yeah, I appreciate that. Absolutely under. Dude, I'm telling you, bro, I think it's going to be a regression year for them. I don't think they're going to be bad. I think they'll still be a wild card team. But I think Jonathan's right. I think Baltimore's going to shake up the league, and I think Baltimore's going to steal the division, man. I just see it happening.
I could see this, Gene. Is that our move on, clear?
No, I think it's like a laser, like we're saying spicy stuff type of stuff.
Yeah, I think this is going to be an AFC. If it goes that way, that's the AFC North of old. Ravens and Steelers is like the Browns are a joke. Ravens and Steelers are competing, and the Bengals are kind of just floating about. So if that's the case, I'll be sad to see it because I love me some Joe Burrow. But we can disagree on this.
I just commented mine for this division. Yeah, I love me some Joe Burrow too, and I think he's going to have a good season. He's a freaking dog. He's Joe Burrow. Jamar Chase and T. Higgins are still two of the best weapons, but they have serious questions at running back. And they have serious questions on defense. Yeah, I just think, I like what Jonathan said, like, because the line is so high, 11.5.
See, to me, the Bengals. Look, I know you do too. We love Joe Burrow here. Right?
He's awesome. And to me, he's great.
But to me, he's Mahomes-esque. You kind of like it doesn't matter who you got around him. He makes people better around him. So I agree the defense, but they've always had the problem with defense. They've always had the problem with their line. Burrow is the one that takes them there. So I think they're going over. That's I actually had them at 13.
I don't hate that. I think it's that's one of the toughest lines. I would probably, if I was a betting man, which I am, I would not make a bet on this line because it's
It's a hard
too
one.
tough. But I like our chat for the North. You ready to move on?
Yep. Also, one thing, the only one, and I think you agree with this. If I'm betting on one of these, if I want to lock, it's the Steelers. Steelers over. I'm taking any all day.
I think Steelers over or Cleveland under to me are locks.
Yeah. All right, cool. Done. All right, let's move into the South. So the South, we've got the Colts at 6.5. This is a terrible division. The Colts at 6.5, the Jags at 9.5, Texans 6.5, Titans 7.5. Now I think we talked Texans. Might have been the last show that we were just banging that over.
Texans are what, 6.5?
6.5.
Hell yeah, I'm banging that over. 7 and 10 with CJ Stroud and D'Amico Ryans and that offseason that they had. I'm banging the over, man. Will Anderson. Come on, that team is. They were already sneaky good last year, but they won a lot of games and they took KC to OT. People forget.
They need the over because they can't be giving up that pick, that first round pick next year with a win total of 3 or 4. So they need.
I gotta lock in. I'm gonna lock in this Colts under. I think that's free money. I do like Anthony Richardson. I just don't see him winning that many games. I see him putting up some nice stats. Thomas, Titans over. What's the line?
7.5.
Ooh, I might disagree, Thomas.
I got him at 6 wins.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go under Titans, over Houston, and then Adrian, what do you have for the Colts?
Colts I had under, but Colts I had over. But I think it's a bit of wish casting. I think of all the rookie QBs, I want Anthony Richardson to succeed the most. I don't know what it is.
I love him. I love athletic profiles, man. That's so fun. I love a good running quarterback.
That's what it is. I think it's. I remember the Lamar Jackson MVP, and it was just such a fun style of football to watch. It was so exciting. So
he took the league by storm. He was dominant.
People did not know defenses did not know what to do with him, and I want that. I like it. It makes for a fun
fantastic. Game. Give me your Jacksonville. What's the line on Jacksonville?
9.5. I'm putting the over here.
Yeah, that's free. That's free money. That might be the best bet in the division on the over.
So, and I'm working through. You know my feelings on American odds, but they are of all the win overs, of all the odds, they are second favorited. I don't know how to explain that. So they're minus 135. The next best or the next worst bet is KC over, which is minus 140. But otherwise, they're to me that over.
That feels like, that's easy money. All right, let's hit the next division. I mean, we're kind of flying through this, huh?
Yeah, we might even be able to do both conferences if we.
I might be down. Yeah, we might as well. Because Adrian, I want you to be here for this, man. This is your one true love. Hopefully, your wife's not listening, but your true love is gambling.
I sold her. I sold her for gambling from.
I bet her and I lost. I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm sorry, babe.
Sorry, wife, if you're listening from somewhere in Azerbaijan. No. All right. So the next is the East. So we got the Bills at 10.5.
We got Jonathan's picks here too. Shout out to Jonathan. Jonathan has Colts under, agree. Houston over, agree. Titans over, don't agree. Sorry. And Jags over. Okay, not bad picks, Jonathan.
Good.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry, East. Bills at 10.5.
Tell me what did the Bills do to deserve a full win less than Cincinnati? Is it because of their division? I can't imagine any other reason.
Second hardest strength of schedule. So I think they're playing the East, obviously because they're in the East. So they play them twice. Now you've got 3 strong teams in the East, assuming Rodgers comes out to be the Rodgers we expect. They've got some pretty tough games. I actually had them at 10 wins, so I still see them taking. There's still their division to lose.
Yeah,
they're taking the division, but I had the under just. But that's a hard one because I agree with you. Like, I mean, what did Buffalo go last year? 13 wins.
13-3. 13-3.
Yeah, and it's hard to see a Bills team that doesn't have double-digit wins and then some. So, but
I think this is like the most blasphemous line that we've covered today. But good. I mean, that's what's happening. Like the drumbeat in the mainstream and the national media for Buffalo, because they didn't capitalize on their trendy couple years, it's over. Like the fun in the sun of the Bills being Super Bowl favorite and them being celebrated and them being, it's over. All we have left now is Madden covers and diva wide receivers on podcasts complaining. But you know what, Adrian? When they're between the lines, when they're between the 20s, I'm taking that 22 over anyone else's myself.
So I was wrong. Just looking at this, they're actually the over is minus 150, so they're even more favored to hit that over. So Vegas agrees with you.
It's just I think that's just I think that's a low ball, man.
Yeah. I agree with you on this, but no, I lie. I don't agree with you on this. I'm still going the under. I'm still going 10 wins, but can't help myself. I respect it. The Dolphins, 9.5. Thoughts?
I like the over. I think they get to 10 wins.
So Dolphins,
especially with a healthy Tua. If Tua goes down, it's a different conversation. But
I think that's the
baked
catch.
into the bet. That's baked into the bet.
Yeah, I think that's the catch.
Adrian, I'm losing your handsome face, buddy. You need to fix that.
Let me lean up.
You can lean all you want. Just lower your camera. That's what I do.
It's just a bit of swag, just rolling
back. Sometimes I do this, and I just boom. You can't even tell.
I love it. Yeah, that was a good move. See, this is I feed off you, not just the optimism. It's the skill. It's a skill.
Oh, dude, you're the skilled one, man. Don't even.
Nah, the goat.
Hot take. We have a hot take from Thomas. Bengals could have the worst secondary among the AFC playoff teams after having one of the best. Absolutely, man. Jesse Bates gone. Von Bell gone. Corners okay, questionable. Definitely love this call, Thomas. Shout out to Thomas for that. Jonathan Fins at 9.5. He thinks if they can keep Tua, they're good for 12 to 13. That's a little rich. I would be more comfortable saying 10 or 11. 12 or 13 is a little rich because even with Tua last year, they still lost a lot of games.
12 and 13 is a lot. 12
but I like 10. I like 10.
Yeah, they've got to keep him upright. That's the catch.
That's easy.
And then
no weekend at Tua's this year, please.
All right, so Pat's 7.5. With this one, I went the under.
Under, yeah. I'm so sorry, but they don't got it, dog. Mac Jones is not that guy.
I'm so with you on this. I think I'm hitting the under on them, and then the Jets. And this is the hard one, 9.5.
Let's first address this comment from Thomas. Yeah, ridiculous that he was. Oh, did we lose Adrian? We lost Adrian. I'm hoping it's that classic Australian Wi-Fi, but fear not, friends. I'm here and I ain't going nowhere. Thomas, they haven't sounded confident in Daxton Hill either. Yeah, there's not the drum beat that you would expect for a former first-round safety. I'm a little surprised by that because he did have such a high pedigree when he was drafted. So very interesting to see how Cincinnati's defensive backfield will hold up. But they're going to be tested a lot because they're going to be playing Buffalo. They're going to be playing Kansas City. The AFC quarterbacks are just a gauntlet. So good luck, Cincinnati. Their pass rush is great. They have solid linebacker play. Their offense is definitely as good as it was last year, minus the running back position if they cut Joe Mixon, which I'm forecasting happens. I don't think Joe Mixon's going to stay in Cincinnati. We also have the Patriots. I'm locking in the under at 7.5. I'd love to hear Thomas and Jonathan's thoughts on the under for New England at 7.5. It feels a little disrespectful given that they have the greatest head coach of all time. He's back.
That wasn't my dodgy Wi-Fi this time.
He's gone again. Ladies and gentlemen, he's back again.
I went to bring up my win totals and accidentally closed the tab.
I'm
so sorry about that.
He's back. Ladies and gentlemen, I take back what I said about Australian Wi-Fi.
It wasn't the Wi-Fi this time, but I admit, look, it's been a dodgy run. I'm sorry.
You're killing it. Don't stress it, dog. We are having such a good time today. Me and Thomas and Jonathan didn't even notice you were gone.
Wow,
that's some sarcasm from Anthony. I love that.
Is that overcompensation? I still love it.
Some sarcastic walk-up music for Adrian. Adrian, give me the Jets over/under.
Well, so 9.5. This is a really hard one.
That's a tough one.
I have to talk about this for a sec because I feel like too many people, and we've talked about this. When Brady went to the Bucs, Packers fans with Rodgers, like, you can't discount what they've done for your organization. So I want him to succeed. Really want him to succeed. So for me, I'm going 10 because sometimes I just kind of wish cast as like I predict what I want to happen. And so I'm going the over on them, but then I still don't think they take the division. Even if the Bills get 10, I think however it works out in the wash, Bills still take the division.
Yeah, Jonathan locked in with us at the Pats not taking care of business this year. I agree. We have Thomas. Patriots are one of my most improved teams. Don't believe Mac Jones wasn't. Oh, he's. I don't know, man. He's forecasting the Mac Jones drop off as a product of coaching. I just don't look. I talk to about this on the show all the time. I'm a big eye test guy. I'm a big feel for it guy. Like, I try to bring statistics to back up my cases, but I've been watching football since I was, in diapers. Not really. I was not in diapers at the age of 9, but basically though, I'll say since before I could ride a bike. I'll say that I was a late bloomer when it came to riding my bike. But I have an innate feel for when I think a player is good or not, and sometimes I'm wrong. I'm really hoping to be wrong about Justin Herbert, but I'm not. I don't feel like I'm wrong about Mac Jones.
But,
I think that dude is buns. I'm sorry, I used a slang term. I apologize to the listeners, but I think he's buns.
And to your older co-host who doesn't understand buns, but whatever.
Buns. It's a little, it's a little. You could put 2 and 2 together. You know what it means. I have to address this before we move on to the next division, but I don't. I feel like with this specific division, Adrian, you have your Buffalo, right? You take the over on Buffalo, and then you have them theoretically winning the division, right? That's how I'm looking at it. Now, I don't think Miami and the Jets can also be double-digit win teams. I just don't think that logistically will happen. So I feel like you have to pick one or the other, and I'm gonna put my money on the Jets or on the Dolphins. I'm sorry. I'm gonna put my money on what we saw from Tua last year, extrapolated over a longer sample size. I'm gonna put my money on the Dolphins being the team who is the runner-up in the division, and the Jets being the third, maybe a 9-8 wildcard team, possibly. But I think the Pats are, to quote myself, buns. And then we have Jonathan here. Mac could have been better with better coaching, but his ceiling is not Tom Brady's. Well, nobody's ceiling is Tom Brady's except for Patrick Mahomes. Correct. So that makes that a little easier of a point to make.
If you could switch Tua and Mac, what do you think would happen?
I think Tua would make the Patriots a little better, and I think Mac would, because of how good the Dolphins defense is, and Vic Fangio there should make them a little bit better. I think that would make both teams, not both teams better, but I think it would make the Dolphins not bad enough to not be a contender, and I think it would make the Patriots maybe good enough to be a contender. I'm a believer in Tua. And this comes from my ability to change my mind. I thought Tua had a water pistol. I thought he was weak sauce until last year. Now I'm like, he proved me wrong. He passed the eye test.
I think Tua's got all the skills. But I'm jury's out because of durability.
Health,
the
absolutely.
jury ability.
Sure.
No, that was the worst pun anyone's ever made ever.
I liked it.
Yeah, it's a positivity coming
it's
through.
Horrendous, but I liked it.
But the problem with you liking it is that then I go, I'm like, okay, that's not bad, and then I use it elsewhere, and they're like, don't ever talk to us.
Oh yeah, I should probably not encourage things like that. No, I'm just kidding.
No, definitely. You know, I'm going to be a dad soon. The dad jokes are just like,
I cannot wait for dad.
Coming to me. They're coming to me.
I cannot wait for that, dude.
Yeah, I'm going to change my name to Dadrian. No, anyway. I think the Jets are going over, and I think the Dolphins are going under. On the Mac Jones topic, though, I have to bring this up. I can't discount the coaching because his rookie season, he was the best rookie QB.
Yeah.
Trey Lance, Zach Wilson. Why am I missing my third?
Was
from
it
there?
Fields? I think it was Fields.
Fields, you might be right. But I think he had the best rookie season of all the rookie QBs that year. And so to me, that coaching had to have played a part because the drop off was so steep, man. Like he just went from like.
I think you're right, but I also think it's a product of defenses figuring out what he does, and he doesn't have enough athleticism or counter punches to make you pay if you throw the right, play to stop him.
Yeah,
his athleticism and his limited arm strength. Like if you don't have a good arm, hopefully you can move a little bit, and if you can't move, hopefully you have a howitzer. And to me, Mac Jones doesn't have either. I think he's low ceiling. I think he's a good backup, and it's the harsh truth. I people will call me biased because I'm a Bills fan, but I mean, I would bet real solid U.S. currency that Mac Jones is not a starting quarterback in 2024. I believe it.
Okay. Yeah, what I was going to say is that year, unfortunately, because he really is, like, and we said this, he's like the vanilla pudding, he's rice pudding, like, flavorless rice, he's personified. And
I feel like pudding is generous. I feel like he's like
yeah,
worse.
rice
He's like
food.
mush. He's like
Yeah,
oatmeal, but
yeah.
without fruit
No,
or nuts
no
or veggies.
honey, nothing.
Yeah,
No
I said
veggies.
veggies. Gross. I know. That was a slip of the tongue.
It's that Whole Foods coming through.
Yeah, right. Exactly. So
Uh,
I feel good, Adrian. Do you got anything you want to say before we wrap up the East, or should we keep it chugging?
No, let's keep it going. I just
AFC
know it's
West.
a hard division.
Yeah.
All right, the West. So we've got now. This. I'll start with the easy one. Kansas City Chiefs at 11.5. That's
Over.
free money.
Free
Yeah,
money.
it's free money.
These lines, Adrian. These lines are stupid.
They don't have anyone. And I'll just check the North. So
We gotta
the NFC,
go. We gotta go to Vegas. There's
Seriously.
no time. Get your money in.
There's no one over 11.5 wins, and there's always, which is weird. The Chiefs, that's free money. There really is.
That's free
The
money.
Broncos 8.5.
I would take the
Hard
under.
one. Yeah,
I'd take the under.
I had
I'm
them
sorry.
at 9.
I know that's not a popular opinion. I know people really are drinking the Sean Payton Kool-Aid, but it
People
doesn't go
want them to
down
be
as
good, I
smoothly
think.
for me.
I
Yeah.
think people want them to be this great team now that they want Sean Payton to go there and fix it.
Yeah. I'm
That's
going to
what I
go with under.
Okay, I had them over, but only just. So
Yeah.
that's fine. You're not going to like this. Chargers 9.5.
You know, I don't like it, but I still think I might take the over just
Okay.
because I'm not a believer in Herbert. I'm just currently my belief, I feel, is just that. It's belief. There's no evidence that Justin Herbert is that guy other
Yeah.
than what the eye test says. But at some point in time, your results have to come, like
You've got to deliver.
Adrian, I'm sure you've heard, oh, Bills keep losing in the playoffs. I'm going to stop picking them to win. Bills keep da-da-da. But it's like people are picking the Ravens. People are picking the Chargers. And it's like those teams haven't been around as long. Like Buffalo's outlasted them every year the last 3 years.
And that's it. Like they're still
It's
winning in the
fatigue.
playoffs. They're not getting to the Super Bowl.
It's
sure, but
literally fatigue. And nobody has it with the Chargers because they haven't been there. They can't.
Yeah,
You can't disappoint in the playoffs if you're barely making it.
I'm not saying this because I've always got your back with the Bills, but like just send those takes also because you're 13 seconds away from the Super Bowl, and no rational thinking human could look at that game and be and if they'd made it, what does the narrative change? What, because 13
Literally.
seconds?
Yes.
You know what I mean?
And that's the point. Yes, it does change, Adrian. Unfortunately, the league is process based. The media is results based. So I will always myself lean on process because I just think process is the key. But I'm still gonna bravely call my shot on the Chargers that they win more than 9 games.
I had them as over as well. Again, just though. But
big believer in their roster. Big believer in their roster.
And then the Raiders at 7.5, which I had them well under.
Yeah, comfortably. Yeah, I don't. That's insane. Low key.
The Raiders are such a weird thing to me. Like, how is there this much drama already around them?
The Jimmy Garoppolo headlines are just blasphemous, dude. Like this man, like there's a stipulation in his contract that he can get cut for no money because of foot surgery. Come on.
I don't like Jimmy. Full stop. At this point,
I love him.
I just think
love him, but he's hurting me.
He's more handsome Derek Carr. That's all he is. He's just Derek Carr, but better looking.
I actually think that was disrespectful to Derek Carr. Derek Carr actually has some chops. I think Jimmy is more handsome and more better coached Mac Jones.
I think that's fair. I think Carr's got a higher ceiling. You're right, but at the moment, what they could do for the Raiders, same.
Yeah.
So, and if Devontae Adams goes on the block, that line is dropping even lower. I don't think there's a seat hotter in the AFC than Josh McDaniels right now.
Oh yeah, he's the hottest hottest seat for the head coach. Well, Russell Wilson's seat might be a little hotter.
Yeah,
but
okay.
Jonathan has Casey over, Denver over. Ooh, Jonathan, you're drinking the Kool-Aid, buddy. Chargers under and Vegas under. Okay, I like it.
A couple of disagreements, but
yeah.
So all right, so I had Broncos over, Chiefs over, Chargers over. That seems weird that I would have 3 overs. Anyway, and then Vegas way under.
So you might have 3 playoff teams in this division based on your predictions.
Yeah, you know what? That seems weird.
Well, you can always workshop it. You got a lot of time. Yeah. It's way too early. Or no, this is just too early.
Some of it's in print. Yeah, some of it's in print, but that's okay.
Right?
Maybe I'll put the Broncos to under. That's okay.
We can't realistically cut Russ for 2 years. It's great. Yeah, that contract is it could go down as the worst contract in NFL history. Fantastic discussion. Do we have one more division or are we moving on?
That's all.
Do we want to move on? It is 50 minutes. It took us 17 minutes to do 4 divisions. How are we feeling, guys?
I'm good to keep going, or if we want to,
I'm gonna put a feeler out I'm gonna put a feeler out. I want Jonathan's opinion, I want Thomas's opinion, and I want the producer's opinion before we decide, because that will extend the show a little bit. But I'm comfortable with it. I'm ready. I got my Whole Foods run that I'm doing after this. Gonna go grab some, Whole Foods.
Yeah, I was saying we don't have Whole Foods here. I see. I have my wife is off to the Mind, Body, and Spirit Festival because she's a very spiritual person.
Oh, that's awesome.
I am. Yeah, but I am not. So that is not for me. So I'm prepping up. I'm hoping it's snow season down here in Australia, so I'm actually heading up to the snow tomorrow. Hopefully, see how we go.
Dude, that's dope. You said you're heading where?
Heading to we've got a couple mountains here that get snow, so I'm headed up with to do a bit of boarding. I'm actually just taking advantage.
You snowboard?
Yeah, I love snowboarding.
Dope. Well, we've done all the vamping that we need to do. Shout out to Adrian for helping us fill the time. We have 2 yeses, and even if Anthony says no, we are the podcast of the people, so we're pushing. Thank you to Thomas and Jonathan for the encouragement. And Anthony, don't ever brush me again, please. It makes me really sad. Ladies and gentlemen, NFC. Adrian, why don't you kick us off with the North?
All right, kick off with the North. The hardest prediction, I think. So Bears.
He just got back to me. Thanks, Anthony.
Bears 7.5, Lions 9.5, Packers 7.5, Vikings 8.5.
That's tough. Oh, yeah. Did I just curse in Australian? I'm sorry for the listeners, for the children listeners. Is that a curse?
I don't think so. I think that's like it's like saying damn. Like I think it's the acceptable.
Oh, okay, version. I take it back regardless.
Yeah.
Don't tell Brian.
So I had Bears over. Lions.
I think so too. I think I'm going to take the Bears over.
This hurts me. I had Packers over because I can't personally bring myself to stay under. They're 7.5, but realistically,
I think this is sorry, dog. I'm gonna go under.
And I had the Vikings way on. Like I don't think the Vikings are getting.
What's their line?
8.5.
It's just low enough that it's tempting. I think it could be a sucker line. I think that could be Vegas saying like, "Here, take the bait." They went to the playoffs last year. They won the division last year. They were 13-4 last year. I think it's too rich.
Yeah. So are you saying under?
Oh, we got the producer picks. Let's go, Anthony. Anthony, you need to do these for the AFC too, by the way. If you don't mind.
I only want
Green Bay under. I agree. Chicago under. I don't agree. Minnesota over. I think I might be. I'm so tempted. The Minnesota line is. I would lose sleep over it if I was a better. I think I'll go over. Just gut check. I'll just go over, and I'll take Detroit over as well.
So Detroit over, Bears over, Vikings over, Packers under. That's your picks.
That is my picks.
Cool. All right. So I put the Packers over only because it's just the homer in me. I can't do it.
I don't blame you. I understand. You saw me do it with the Bills, but I think my case is a little better than yours.
Oh, you got a much stronger case.
We have Chicago that's from me. From Jonathan, we have Chicago under, Detroit over, Green Bay under, Vikings over. Yeah, I think it's consensus. Green Bay is going to be under. Adrian, I think you might be the lone soldier. You're going down with the ship.
But you know what? I own it. I own that is just me being a homer.
I respect it. I don't judge you whatsoever, my friend.
All right, let's move to the East.
Moving to the East. The East, this is another one's going to be really hard. Listen to this, you guys. Wednesday's 30-minute show. Adrian, you got to tune in, man, because if you miss Brian McFadden at all, it'll give you a chance to scratch the itch. The Brian McFadden, the Big Mac itch. Craving a Big Mac, if you will. But we actually had a debate about the Giants, and he said that I was a homer for believing in the Giants. And I said, first of all, they play in Jersey, so go wash your mouth out with soap.
Yeah.
First of all. Second of all, just because they have Dable and Joe Shane makes me a homer because I believe in the Giants. I think they're good. I think they're going to be a good team.
So I don't believe in the Giants. But can I say, and actually it's funny because like I said, I wrote about this very recently, and I've said that about 17 times now. But here is in the last, 2023? The last 4 years of Coach of the Year follow-ups. 2018, Matt Nagy followed up with 8-8. 2020, Stefanski 8-9. 2021, Vrabel 7-10. And if you go through and just go through the last 20, I would say of the last 20 coaches of the year, I think 13 were followed up with losing records. Like it was weird that, and like Matt Nagy,
they go with trendy picks. I've been saying they go with trendy picks. They don't pick the actual coach of the year. They pick who's the trendy upstart new coach that people are starting to talk about.
Yeah, so
It's like
I
a
think
breakout award.
yeah, I get that. So look, the Giants were 8.5. They are my solid pick for under. Like that to me, that's my lock.
I think I'll take over 8.5 for the Giants.
Alrighty. Well, let me note that.
We're
All right.
moving.
Jonathan Engelman's Birds, and I mean, look, we know what you're going here, Jonathan, but it's 11.5.
Oh, that's easy over. Free money
Yeah.
again.
Not in the NFC. You know what I mean? Like you can't beat that. That's an over.
Yeah.
Cowboys were a hard one, 9.5.
Damn, am I crazy for thinking over again? Am I crazy for thinking over?
No, you're not. But that to me that feels almost like the Cowboys, as always, are going to be.
I think I'm going to take under.
You going under?
Yeah, I think I'm going to go down under. With the
I did have him under. I had him as 9 wins just because.
But Dak's really good. Dak's underrated. I just want to say that.
He totally is, and and in the NFC, which is a bit easier. But I don't know. I don't know what it is. The Cowboys, I find that hard to get around them as a powerhouse. Despite, if you look at the NFC, they're really one of the top teams. But I just like
they are.
They're them, the Eagles, like Niners. That's pretty much it. That's
a horrible conference. Yeah, the NFC South is going to send a mediocre team to the playoffs this year. And if it's Thomas's Panthers, watch out, because if they make noise, if Bryce Young makes noise, that team could be terrifying.
Yeah, I hear you. And then the Commanders at 6.5.
I think under. I mean, I think under is.
I took the under on them.
If Howell takes the step that people think he's going to have, Howell could have like a breakout type season where he's like really good, putting up the numbers, maybe like a Justin Fields last year. But I don't think they can be as competitive or good just yet.
I look, I mean, the reports out of OTAs are not glowing, that's for sure. And that's saying something, because normally when Commanders are trying to send a message, they're going to try and have their reporters glowing about him. But look, we'll see if we're proven wrong. To me, he's not going to be their starter next year.
Yeah, we have Thomas. If the Eagles' pass rush regresses, the secondary could become a problem. That's true. I don't see it regressing. They got better on the defensive line. I know they lost Javon Hargrave, but they have some dogs up there, man. Those Georgia boys are no joke. So I'm gonna keep my respect on Philly's defensive line. And Adrian is probably going to take this moment to talk about Howie Roseman, which I don't blame him.
Am I blushing? Is that how you knew it was coming?
It was the hint.
I felt like, look, Jonathan, I know you said you had been here for a little bit, and if I remember right, it was because of surgery. So I hope you're doing okay, man. But if you've missed my love for Howie Roseman, like, man, I just gush over this guy every show.
He loves him. Favorite player.
Yeah, and you're not wrong on Devin Carter. 100% favorite GM. Like, if I could pick one GM to love me, no, I mean to take my team for an instant, it would be.
Yo, Adrian, your wife better not be listening to this show, man.
she listens. Like, look, she'll watch for every second one. I just press buttons. She'll watch every second one. So hopefully she misses.
She's the best, man. She's the best. Well, shout out to Mrs. Adrian.
She's the goat. Really
shout out to Jonathan. Those are good picks. I respect those picks. And yeah, Jalen Carter's a dog, man. He's gonna do good things on that defense. I think we're ready to keep it chugging, man.
Let's do it. All right. So over to the south. No, sorry, I just got that wrong. Over to the west. So the Cardinals at 4.5. The Rams at
free money.
Yep.
No way they're winning 5 games with David Blau.
No chance. The Rams at 6.5.
Over.
Yeah, were you saying that BMAC was talking about not sleeping on the Rams?
Yeah, BMAC is sneaky high on them. He's like post-hype buying into the LA Rams. I can't do it, man. Yeah,
look, I think I'm drinking the Kool-Aid a bit though, because they've still got their weapons. Unless if Stafford is really terrible, I actually think Stetson Bennett, and that was one of my props. If you remember,
I love that prediction. That's right.
Yeah, I think did I say week 6?
You did say week 6.
They've got a brutal start to the season. Their first 5 games are
Stafford could be a sacrificial lamb.
He really could, and that's going to and their strengths of schedule. I know they're close to the top. They're okay. Then the Seahawks, I think, this to me is free money. 8.5. I'm taking the over all day on that.
100%. I agree.
In this division, please. And then the Niners, which are 10.5. But this all depends on their QB. If Sam Darnold's there,
10 and a
If Sam
half?
Darnold's, I'm taking the under all day.
But 10 and a half is kind of low though. Like for a
For the
team that,
Niners.
yeah, that's a tough one. That's one, I guess. Yeah, I guess you might be right, Adrian. I guess for now I'll say under, but I don't know if I can lock that in. I'll just say
I
that for
had
now.
Yeah, I had him as 10 only because it's just I mean, look, there's been reports of Brock Purdy's looking good. He should be ready for week 1. And if he is, I'm taking the over. Because if he plays like he did last year, I actually can't wait. I just can't wait for the made for TV documentary on Mr. Irrelevant when he
Oh,
takes
it's
it to
gonna
the
be
Super
so
Bowl.
awesome. It's gonna be so
Uh,
awesome.
Yeah.
I love Brock
It's
Purdy, man.
You know, it's a shame. I really wish, and they're not eligible, but if they were eligible for Hard Knocks, I would have loved to see Hard Knocks on the Niners with
That
Brock
would have been
Purdy.
so cool, man. Yeah,
Uh,
more of an insight on Kyle Shanahan's freaking psychotic nature as head coach. He's one of the geniuses of the game for sure.
Yeah. So and Darnold might take a step forward, but I don't know if I could take the over with Darnold at the helm.
Eventually, I'm going under for now, but if we get great news about Purdy's healing, I might go over.
I'm going to put an asterisk next to that just so I remember.
But Seahawks over is free money.
Oh yeah, I'm taking the Seahawks.
The Rams are the real question mark of the division for me.
Yeah, and then there's the Cardinals, which to me actually it's probably, if you're a betting man, the NFC West is actually not a bad place to get in on. Arizona Cardinals free
Arizona
money.
under is you got to take. They're not winning 5 games. Are you kidding me? That's insane.
No. I don't think, and I could be wrong on this, but I don't think you can parlay these win totals because obviously
I was wondering. You can parlay most things.
I tried to do it on the Aussie betting sites without any luck. But look, I could be wrong. I'm sure there'd be some.
Sports betting is illegal in California, so I would never ever sports bet. It's so disgusting and gross.
You even know what it is?
I actually really don't know what it is. I don't even know what we're talking about.
It's just faking it here till we make it.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. All right, my friend. What's next?
Let's finish it up. So heading over to the south, we've got the Falcons at 8.5. This is a hard one because we love the Falcons here.
We do, and they were Brian's offseason darling team. They did do some amazing things, bolstering the roster. Desmond Ridder is still the big question mark, in my humble opinion.
The
biggest question mark. So I guess I'm gonna have to go under based on Ridder.
Yeah, so they have, and I talk about this a lot because I feel like it gets. I keep hitting that. I talk about this a lot because I feel like it gets missed. Is their strength of schedule? So they got the second easiest strength of schedule.
Ooh, that's interesting.
They're in a terrible division. I had them as under as well, but I had them as 8 wins.
Yeah, I could see them winning 8. I could see them being a contender for the division until the end of the season, just like they were last year.
Yeah, I think it all depends, funnily enough, on the Panthers. If the Panthers and Bryce Young do what we were talking about at the start and he really balls out, then I'll go under for sure. But otherwise,
what's that Panthers win total?
Panthers is 7.5.
Give me the over.
Yeah. All right. So we're in lockstep here.
I'm realizing now, and I think through Thomas being here, I'm realizing now I'm a low-key believer in the Panthers.
No, I'm in on the Panthers.
I love Frank Reich. I think he's such a good coach.
Same.
I would like to see their personnel around Bryce Young improve in the not so distant future. I think that's a team that needs to make some serious roster overhaul moves. But for now, like where they're at, I think they're in a darn good spot.
I think no matter what, unless Bryce Young is an absolute bomb, and this is a shout out directly to the Panther fans. You got a bright future, man. Like look forward to next year. I feel like you're going to be like back into contention. Like the Cam Newton days where Panthers were always in contention. Like look forward to those days coming back real soon.
I love Miles Sanders, man. I know you don't agree with me. You and Brian both. I'm alone out of all the legit football pundits, if you will. I'm the only one who pounds the table for Miles Sanders, and you guys are gonna look silly when this man goes out there and is an RB1.
We're gonna find out because I'm not letting this go. I'll be bringing this up when we're recapping games and Miles Sanders runs for 45
Thomas
yards.
Wants to give a shout out. Just needs the secondary to stay healthy. I completely agree. That's a big variable.
Yeah,
that's a big variable.
Now the Saints, and I'm going to caveat this, they have the easiest strength of schedule, right? Because otherwise you'd be hitting the under on this, which is 9.5. 9.5.
Damn.
I'm still hitting the under.
It's too rich. Yeah, I was going to say same. It's just too high. If it was like 7.5, I'm over. Maybe even 8. But 9 is just that line, man. They have to get to double-digit wins for that to cash. Nah, I can't do it.
Can you imagine the Saints? And I don't think. I mean, their head coach is not Sean Payton. Like I understand he studied under Sean Payton, but he's not Sean Payton. Just the same way that Matt Patricia is not Bill Belichick. So we need to stop living in this glow where Sean Payton raised this guy and he runs the offense the same way. No, dude, 7 wins. That's what I'm putting him at.
I think 7 to 9 is realistic. I do really like Derek Carr. I just want to make that clear. I think Derek Carr is a great player. I think the offense is going to be humming. I don't know how I feel about the defense. They have a way to go in terms of, I think they're a ways off from being a great defense. Hit me with that Tampa total because I'm dying to take another under.
6.5.
Oh, under. I'm breaking my thumb, smashing under so hard.
All right, so you went under Falcons, over Panthers, under Saints, under Bucks. I went over on the Bucks. That's so wish casting. Just give me some Baker Mayfield.
Bro, 6.5, bro. They have to win 7 games, bro.
I want them, but I want them to win it. I don't think they will. No,
have you seen the footage from OTAs, man? It's sad.
Oh, it's disgusting.
Baker's a shell of himself, man. Where did that guy go? Where did that confident dancing QB from Oklahoma who stabbed the flag in the field and caught the 2-point conversion in his first start? I don't know, man. I don't know who that dude is, man. He's a shell.
He really has gone missing, hasn't he? I just want him. You know what it is? If he gets out to a good start. I think if he gets out to a good start, but the only thing is he hasn't even won the battle yet. Like there's still a battle.
Which is just like, think about that. He was a first overall pick and he's in a battle with Kyle Trask.
Yeah.
We don't know anything about Kyle Trask. He might have that dog in him. We haven't seen him between the 20s, but man, I don't know, Adrian.
Yeah. Thomas calling out the Falcons as a sleeper team. I think we all agree Falcons
100%.
could. Yeah.
Yeah.
If Ritter's that dude, he's like such a variable. Because if he's that dude, if he takes a step,
if he's even just good, he doesn't even have to be great.
Exactly.
He's good.
Got such a supporting cast.
Those weapons are insane, yo. Like, oh my God. I actually made a video on quarterback hot seats, and I had Ritter as in one of the seats because of everything going on around him. And he's a second-year player. He's not a rookie. You can't just say, oh, rookie struggle, rookie pains, growing pains, da-da-da. He's a second-year player. There's a different expectation for second-year players. The same, this is tough to say, but same goes for your boy Jordan Love. And he's not a second-year player. He's like a fourth-year player.
No, Jordan Love's got to deliver this year.
And ball. Yeah, he does. Absolutely.
Yeah. Look, this is not a least to east kind of situation. The South are not going to be good again this year. But what I will say is that next year, if I was a South fan, I'd be looking forward to some games next year because if Ritter doesn't deliver and they get someone better, the Falcons are going to be just absolute dogs. Panthers are looking like they're going to be competitive maybe this year, but great next year.
Definitely.
I don't know how I feel about the Saints. The Bucks have still got their weapons though, so if they can get a QB, like if this year is what we expect it to be, which is a bomb, and they get a good QB in next year, like they've still got the weapons around them. They can still deliver. Yep. So, sorry, South fans, it's going to be rough this year, but it is.
No, I think they all want it to be rough, unless it's your team. They want the other teams to suck so that they can have a chance. Like, I mean, right now in my gut, I'm seeing I think it's gonna come down to. I think you can rule Tampa out. I think it's going to come down to Ritter, Carolina's ascension, and how good Derek Carr is in New Orleans. Because I think it's one of those 3 teams, and I think it's going to be razor thin. I think it's going to be close again.
I think what I like about the South is the Bucks. Look, I mean, for me, I've got something to watch in the Bucks because I love me some Baker. But there's someone to watch in every team. You got Bijan, you got Bryce Young, and even I know it's
division. Yeah,
even Chris Olave, like he was contender for rookie of the year. I'm really excited to see him again this year. Exciting football to watch. So, and with Derek Carr, who I agree that Derek Carr has much higher ceiling than people give him credit for. There's been some years where he's just balling out, and then and then
remember when he broke his leg? I think it was like 2014. They were like 12-3, prime to get the first round bye, prime to make a playoff run, and he broke his leg. It's one of the saddest things ever. But
was rough.
He's got one last stretch in his career. Hopefully he makes it count. Adrian, we did it. All 32 teams win-loss predictions. Oh my God, that was so fun. Thank you, Anthony, for the fantastic DJing today. And I appreciate you for getting back to me. You had me a little nervous that I thought I was getting ghosted by my producer. That's not a good feeling. But I can't thank Jonathan and Thomas and Oscar for keeping the chat hot. Oh my God, this is the kind of show I want to have every week. The energy was buzzing. Mr. Adrian Ravito, just moments away from fatherhood. And I just could not be more stoked with your contributions, Adrian. Thank you for steering the ship today. You did a fantastic job.
Thanks, man. Look, I just, I aspire to be, of course. So it was such a fun show, and you're so right on the chat. Like the chat just keeps it live. I love it.
They're just lighting it on fire. You're all subbed. Hopefully, if you're not, please sub. I'm going to quote my great Australian friend, Adrian. Tell your friends about us. Tell your friends' friends. Tell your friends' friends to tell their moms, and then tell your friends' friends' moms to tell their neighbors.
Absolutely.
Because we have a lot of fun on the show, and I think other people would too.
Yeah, and don't fear. Like when this is massive, the day one babies, they're coming to the field when we're interviewing players. You know what I'm saying? That's happening.
Oh, A1 day one, baby. We'll never forget. We will never ever forget all of y'all. So thank you guys for a fantastic show. I want everybody here to have a great, safe, happy, healthy weekend. Adrian, you keep us posted on the fatherhood thing, man. Just let us know if any text us in the chat, man. I want to know.
Oh, absolutely. We're on Labor Watch next week. So
Maybe
man,
you can go live from the room.
she'd love that.
Yeah,
I will say this. There's going to be one day, and I'm foreshadowing here because when baby comes, I have to step away from the show just for a little bit. But one day, I'm just going to pop into the stream randomly. Just
literally cannot wait, dude. Looking forward to it. Adrian, you're the GOAT. Anthony, you're the GOAT. Thomas, Jonathan, Oscar, Armand, even though you're not here, you're all the GOATs. Have a beautiful, happy, safe, healthy weekend. We'll catch you all very soon.